Yeah, well, exactly. If there was ever a greater sin than questioning COVID dogma, it would have to be challenging the transgender affirmation industry. But affirmation is a word many are uncomfortable using when it comes to the surgical, emotional and chemical transformation of children's bodies. Is it true that doctors risk losing their jobs if they question, criticise or challenge the gender affirmation industry, even if their goal is, as you say, the protection of children?
Well, I think, as I said, Gillian's case more than illustrates that. And, she said as she sort of went through a period of realisation that some people could see the problem, but they didn't want to, obviously put the care that they could, continue to deliver in the service at risk. But also there's a self-preservation issue here. And, I've also similarly come across doctors who could see what was happening with the COVID during the COVID era about, how we're being silenced and all of the medical censorship, but, they've got kids to put through school and mortgages to pay as well. And, I guess I sort of saw this unfolding over the last maybe decade or so, but I didn't realise how bad the problem was until COVID arrived. And now we're seeing the same pattern unfold, with the transgender care affirmation model, which is just being pushed so hard.
Well, it seems strange for this to even be a scenario, because it would be ludicrous, for example, for a doctor to lose their job if they questioned a technique used to set a broken bone, or if they expressed unease about a cancer treatment. Why is the permanent disfigurement of children's bodies a medical no-go zone?
That's a really good question, I tell you. I've thought about it, and I asked the same question of Gillian, and she, said that it's multifactorial. I mean, as we've seen in a lot of areas of medicine, there are a lot of vested interests. There's politics. There's definitely a very strong lobby group behind this, and it's almost impossible to unearth all of the factors at play here. But some of them are spoken, some of them are unspoken, but they're all very much understood that if you speak out, you stand to lose everything. And, Gillian's been suspended from her job for the last 3 or 4 months following a patient complaint, which curiously came around the same time that she spoke out as a private citizen at one of the rallies, that I've linked to in that article. And she simply just was advocating for, children's health, children's safety, the protection of women. And, she didn't even identify herself as a doctor. So she's even lost her freedom to be able to speak out as a private citizen, which is even more alarming.
Well, you can answer this question more generally if you prefer, but is medical censorship jeopardising both patient care and the quality of medicine? And if so, what possible justifications could health regulators give for striking doctors off? I mean, is Australia protecting politics over patients in this case?
I call this the public protection paradox, where in the name of protecting patient safety, what they're actually doing is potentially putting patients at harm because they're censoring doctors and their ability to speak out. And this is something that really incenses me, because how can we get informed consent from patients for any procedure or talk about any treatment if we can't talk with them openly about the evidence or the risks and benefits? And what justification could regulatory authorities give for this? I have no idea. I mean, if we could ever get a decent, hearing in a neutral space, they'd be some of the questions that I'd very much like to ask, because without doctors being able to have professional discretion and open scientific debate, this is how we advance science. This is how we, protect patients. This is how we get the best outcome for people, is by, questioning things and, providing the best care for the patient in their particular situation. So if we're not able to do that, the people that are going to suffer is the patient at the end of the day.